I used the time to do some experiments, that normally I wouldn't have had time. So in the first session, we talked about CBD enriched coffee. So in Switzerland, that is legal. So I got myself a couple of drops, and I started to do some CBD enriched cappuccinos. Then this morning I started to work with oat milk, which is a big trend around not only specialty coffee, but we could see like a big move towards almond milk. But maybe when you look at almond milk a little bit deeper, maybe it doesn't make too much sense. So maybe oat milk will be more sustainable. So this morning I had my very first oat milk 3/4 flat white. It's a very special recipe. So it's not a flat white in a traditional sense, a bit shorter. So in Australia you would call it magic. So it's a good way, you have some time for yourself, then you can read, you can exchange, you can post and get feedback from others in the social network. So it's a different way of connecting with the community.
True. As you were just mentioning, oat milk and almond milk, I think one good candidate for the future is also pea milk, pea protein milk, because the foaming capacity is quite amazing. Like you will get a very fine texturized foam. And as you said, yeah, almond has some inflections, like when it comes to sustainability, for example, whereas oat is quite good. And also pea milk is. And I'm actually excited what will be the next thing on the market, because there's way more protein rich or suitable ingredients out there, side stream or not, to make milk of. And it has to be dairy all the time. Though I must say I love dairy still the most. Like a traditional cappuccino with dairy milk is better than plant-based often. Not all the time.
But you work on you work also on the Atomo coffee project. So maybe you also want to rework the milk the way you work the coffee.
We actually have something in the pipeline based on an ingredient which is also like a side stream product, similar as Atomo coffee. Like side stream refers to what would be considered as waste product, and the goal of Atomo was to make a milk which is allergen free, like for example, other than oat, which could contain gluten, but also GMO free and has a high protein. And I think it's still very, very fresh in the pipeline. So I don't want to shed the water on this too much. And maybe we can discuss in the next series about this Atomo milk project then.
Okay.
Samo, I saw you were roasting quite a lot and increased your latte art skills.
Oh yeah, there's always, you have to take try to get the best out of the bad situation, right? So what I try to do is to learn to do at least a bit latte art during these times. And of course, I was doing a lot of home roasting. Not as much as I wanted, because as I thought that I will have actually a lot of time. It's actually, I don't have a lot of time because the kids are around and I can't do all the stuff I wanted to do. But I tried to do a roasting and espresso, so I was playing around a lot with different roast profiles, different espresso extraction, and did a lot of tests around.
And
try to learn latte art, yeah.
And you're roasting on this brand new roaster? Or?
I'm roasting on the Roest roaster, yes.
And how is your first verdict? How is it going?
My first verdict is I really like it. It's cool. It's simple. It's robust. It has really good control. And the batch size of 100 grams, it's a perfect size to do some, tests. It's enough to make a few espressos out of it. It's enough to measure the color of the coffee if you want to do some quality control of your roasts. And it's not too much to be then, needed to spend this coffee that you roasted by drinking it or whatever, or throwing it away. Because if you roast half a kilo, then if you make 10 tests, you already have 5 kilos, and by the time I drink
What
5
is the
kilos of coffee.
maximum, Samo, that you can
Max
roast?
is 120 grams. It's
Okay.
50 to 120, so I use 100. I think that's a good batch size to use for home roasting and learning to roast and learning how different roast profiles produce different tastes of coffee.
I'm thinking a different way. I'm thinking if I would compete again, and you said you can roast like more than 100 or 120 grams, that means I would need to do 6 double. Yeah, maybe that would be enough. I could roast once and then serve all the 12 beverages on stage.
Ah, now you're thinking this way, I see. No error margin there.
I know there's no error margin anyway on that level.
I know.
Have you ever thought of competing again?
No. That is now, that is now really done and over. And every day, people, they ask me, do you want to compete again? Or they ask me about some trials. And funny enough, I've written my book. And for example, on the pressure profiling or working with lower pressure, I actually totally forgot that I have written a chapter about it in my book. So while I was preparing during 6 months for WBC, I think I extracted so many espressos and have conducted so many experiments that now for me competing again wouldn't be the same learning experience. So I prefer to leave the space to the next generation baristas, because I think it's also my time is over. So it's good to let the new generation baristas compete and expose themselves and show their skills. I might be like twice as old as like the average barista age on WBC stage. So no need to compete again, but it was an amazing learning experience. And otherwise, if you have a clear goal when you compete, there is a timeline. You need to be ready. You need to experiment. You need to make tasty coffee. So it's a good thing to do to really squeeze yourself and make sure you show the best of you can do, and you do enough experiments to make it tasty. And that for me was the most important point. But now I leave it to others, not because I know everything, but I just follow what other people are doing, and then I can redo. And maybe in 3-4 years, I need to compete again because I need some more deep dive learning experience. Or I can just ask you two, as scientists, what I need to do.
Maybe you can coach some competitors. Have you thought of this?
I've been coaching some baristas. I don't know. Before I competed myself, my barista skills were very slow. I was very, really slow. My skills were low and I was very messy. And now looking at other baristas, sometimes I get annoyed because I think I could even do it still better. So I'm a little bit impatient. And I think they should really learn from others, youngsters having new ideas. It also changed a lot. So when I competed 2017, it was about espresso innovation. Now, when you look, for example, Amsterdam, most of the competitors were competing with super innovative post-harvesting processed coffees. So they all came up with anaerobic coffees, maybe double anaerobic, double fermented, whatever you can hear, they used as coffees, and it moved much more into customer service, which I think is really important, but that is totally not my field. So I let the real baristas compete.
Good. Should we call it a Zoom meeting and close it here? Great.
Yeah.